Yeah. Yo, what's going on, y'all? This is Marcus Rosa, aka Mazuma TV, back at y'all with some more boxing talk, man. I hope everybody's having a blessed, beautiful, positive, productive night. I hope you had a great day overall, man. I'm tapping in with y'all because we got some things that we currently need to discuss that's going on in the boxing world. We're gonna talk about Shakur, Stevenson, and Conor Benn possibly being next, based off of the discussion that they had on Ariel Helwani's show. Then we're gonna talk about Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach possibly being canceled, and what that could mean for the future of Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach. Then we're going to get into some open boxing topics. You feel what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody that's in the building so far. If y'all could go ahead and hit the like button, that'd be very much appreciated. You see what I'm saying? We on the road to 4K. We well into the mid 3,100 mark. Shout out to the nation in the mob for making this possible. I already see we got a few comments in the building, not too much. You know what I mean? I'm assuming they ain't sending out them notifications, unfortunately. It is what it is. If y'all can go ahead and hit the like button and get the algorithm on the up so the people know that Mazuma TV is live, that'll be very much appreciated. You see what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody that's in the building thus far. Shout out to Smoochie with the first comment of the day. What up? Baboon Balloon in the motherfucking building. What up? Coffee Plant in the building as always. He said, focus on your division, trying to fight lightweights. I'm assuming you talk about Conor Benn, brother. We definitely gonna cook up on that. The mindless consumer. What up? Talk to me, man. What's on your mind? What we feeling like today, man? What we feeling like today, man? What's on the people's mind? I see they still cooking Edgar Berlanga on the internet. You know what I'm saying? They still cooking Edgar Berlanga on the internet, man. The memes are going absolutely ape shit right now. Denitric Banner, what up? He said boxing OG. Hey, man, I don't even look at myself that way. You feel me? You know what I mean? I'm just in tune with the nation. We talk about what the nation want to talk about. You feel what I mean? And we talk what we know. You feel me? Salute. This nigga Baboon Baloo said Edgar Bernalgas. Where did you get that from, brother? Because the first person I ever heard say that was Lorenzo. Shout out to my boy Lorenzo from all the way out Japan. You feel me? That was the first person I heard say that. Bernalgas. That's fucking hilarious. That's funnier than Bumlanga, for real, for real. If anybody that don't know what Nalgas means, that means like ass. Bernalgas is hilarious. Berlanga and Bernalgas, it sounds very similar, so that's what makes it so funny to me. Coffee Plant says, Turkey crazy for posting that video. What video you referring to, brother? Enlighten me. Maybe I missed something. Hugo Juice, what up? What's going on, brother? I still think Hugo Juice is a crazy-ass name. I low-key feel like that's a pause, but I fuck with Hugo, man. Shout out to Hugo. Marissa, what's going on, Marissa? Whenever Marissa come in the building, man, I'll be feeling like being on my best behavior because, you know, she a young boy and all that. You know what I mean? That's how I know I'm going to be a soft-ass nigga if I ever had a daughter. That's how I know. When I see a girl that's, like, a lot younger than me and all that, I'll be feeling like, let me not say what's on my mind right now. But in Spanish, it means juice. Oh, okay. So now Hugo is Hugo. Hugo Juice. So, nigga, your name is Juice Juice? I know what Hugo mean, but I thought you were saying it like Hugo. Like the, what's that, like a clothing brand, right? Hugo Boss or something like that. You never heard of that? Oh, all right. So your name Hugo. All right, cool. I know what that means. I'm Puerto Rican. I know a little bit of Spanish. We family friendly. Sometimes we not, brother. And that's why a lot of my videos been getting demonetized lately. You feel me? That's why, you know, I'm trying to censor myself. And to be honest with you, you know what I mean? Before my son really started like repeating my words and stuff like that, I got to learn how to minimize the cursing. I don't think I'm going to be able to get rid of it totally because I do curse a lot. But I'm going to definitely work on it because I don't want my son talking like how the way I talk. Not at that young age. You feel me? But anyway, what you want? You want to grab a chair? You don't want to sit down? We'll grab a chair. Hugo. I'm gonna start calling you Hugo now, brother. It says Munguia versus Berlanga. You like it? I mean, yeah, I do. But I don't know if that's the direction Edgar Berlanga wants to go in at this particular time. You know what I'm saying? He just went through a tough loss against Hamza Shiraz, and I think he will meet a similar fate fighting somebody like Jaime Munguia anyway. You know what I'm saying? I think Jaime Munguia is, first of all, I look at Jaime Munguia as the more experienced fighter in comparison to Edgar Berlanga. This man that actually won a world title. He done been through multiple divisions. I feel like he's green as well, but not as green as Edgar Berlanga, if we being honest. So, and I think that's a terrible style for Edgar Berlanga. Edgar Berlanga needs to stay away from punches for as long as he can. You know what I'm saying? Like, he needs to stay away from punches, because I'm not gonna say he's chinny, but at the same time, his ability to take a shot isn't like the best thing in his toolbox. You feel what I'm saying? So, I think Jaime Munguia's volume, his pressure, his come forward style, I think he'll end up hitting Edgar with a shot that he won't respond well to, and he might get stopped by a Jaime Munguia as well. But at the same time, fuck Jaime Munguia. You know what I'm saying? I respect Edgar Berlanga a lot more than Jaime Munguia. You know why? Because I've never heard of Edgar Berlanga testing positive for PEDs. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I never heard that. You know what I'm saying? And he did the best of what he could, you know, in each fight that he's lost, and went about it the clean way. So do I rate Edgar Berlanga as this elite level fighter? No, but I respect him more than Jaime Munguia, and that's just what it is. You feel me? Yeah, all right, Teach. You ain't getting no money out of me. I might go broke if I was to do that shit, Teach. Fuck all that. Silk's a petty motherfucker. He said Berlanga finna get a block named after him. He a legend for getting knocked out. Yo, bro, and the Ring Magazine, they petty as fuck, bro. Like, they over here, bro, they really cooking Berlanga in these videos. And I don't know if Turkey Al-Sheikh is the one telling them to put these videos together, but they like, and I understand, you know, Hamza is like a Ring Magazine ambassador, a Riyadh Season ambassador, whatever the fuck the case is. So they gonna back their boy. You feel what I'm saying? And Edgar Berlanga was right in a sense, like, you know, like Turkey, your daddy. So, you know, Turkey being Hamza Shiraz, you know, big dog or whatever the case is, he backing his boy, and now he making Edgar Berlanga, I guess, eat crow, I guess you would say. So, yeah, it's pretty funny. Hugo says Berlanga versus Bruno Sarase. That's not a bad fight, but Bruno might be a tough outing for him, because Bruno could box. Bruno got skills, bro. And obviously he got some type of sneaky power. You know, Jaime Munguia was known for his durability, his ability to take a punch, all that. So to see, you know, Jaime Munguia get hit on the chin like that and not respond well off a knockdown and have to use PEDs to try to get his lick back, you know what I mean? That says something about Bruno Sarase. That shows how much Jaime Munguia didn't like his chances against him. He said, best boxing movement of 2025 so far. Shout out to the boy Anonymous in the building. Always showing love. Teach. I didn't even get to say what's up to you. What's up, brother? Tay, what up? He said Berlanga versus Maul. I don't like that fight for Berlanga, man. I need, if Berlanga wants to get back in the picture and actually have a chance of having competitive fights with elite level fighters, he needs to go back to square one. He needs to go back to the drawing board. He needs to go ahead and, you know, attend to those steps that he skipped previously before the Canelo Alvarez fight. He needs to go ahead and fight some, you know, some journeymen, you know what I mean? Some tough journeymen, whatever the case is, you know, some tough, durable vets. He needs to face them. You know what I mean? Stop skipping the line. You know what I mean? Go ahead, face them former world champs, like them washed up world champs, or whatever the case is. You know what I mean? Get that experience in your toolbox, man. You know what I'm saying? Stop, like, you went against the method. You know what I'm saying? Like, you rushed your career, and that's partially why, you know, Top Rank released you, because they wanted you to follow a certain script. You felt like you was too big for that script. You felt like you didn't need to go through, you know, the process that they was trying to put you through, and it fucked you over. Just like with Jared Anderson. You know, Jared Anderson, he rushed his process. They didn't want him to fight Martin Bakoli, from what I understand. He forced them to accept the fight for accept the Martin Bakoli fight on that Riyadh season card. And look where that put Jared Anderson, in a fucked up situation where he has not looked right since then. You see what I'm saying? 88 Sports Talk said he needs to learn how to box. He got hyped up over knocking out bums. This is the conversation that I was having earlier at the gym, man. And first of all, you're totally right, 88. He definitely needs to learn how to box. You know what I'm saying? But he should have been learning that in the course of getting all those 16 first-round knockouts. That's what he should have been learning, how to box. You feel me? But the conversation that we was having at the gym was having knockout power might be the most dangerous thing for a fighter to have. Hear me out. Hear me out. Everybody just listen to what I'm saying. Having punching power is one of the, or a fighter realizing that he has punching power is one of the most dangerous things, one of the most diabolical things that a fighter could come to realize. The reason why I tell y'all this is because a lot of these guys who come to find out, especially when they weren't punchers and they're amateurs, when they find out they actually got punching power in them 8 to 10 ounce gloves, they literally lose sight of everything else that's important in the sport. Everything else that's important in the sport. You feel what I'm saying? All of a sudden, they don't care about boxing people no more. You know what I'm saying? They don't care about winning the early rounds. Like these guys get so infatuated with their power, they lose sight of the other things in boxing that seems to be important. Like I remember, like Deontay Wilder, Gervonta Davis. Those guys are notorious slow starters, and the reason why they are notoriously slow starters is because in their mind, they don't care to lose the beginning rounds because in their mind, they feel like you're not going to make it to the scorecards anyway. And that's a very dangerous approach to take. Now, it might, you know what I mean? They might be right. You know what I'm saying? Because Wilder, he had this famous quote, oh, you got to be perfect for 12 rounds. I only have to be perfect for 2 seconds. You know, Gervonta Davis, he wouldn't mind losing 2 or 3 rounds in the beginning of the fight because he knew that once he turned it up and he started putting that heat on you, he knew it was a matter of time before you folded. Having punching power really makes you believe that everything else that comes with the game is not important, but this is where they always get fucked over at, man. What happens? And while they so infatuated with their power, they don't focus on their boxing ability. They don't focus on their conditioning. They don't focus on their defense. None of that shit. Edgar Berlanga, the whole build-up to the Hamza Shiraz fight, was talking about how he was going to clip Hamza Shiraz in the first round. I heard him say that at press conferences. Oh, if he try to go blow for blow with me, he might get stopped in the first round. And bro, these guys be so infatuated with their power. They so big on, they punching power being a factor. They not even thinking about the shots coming back. The shots coming back. Edgar Berlanga was so big on having punching power, he forgot that Hamza was a puncher. And I was trying to tell everybody, I'm like, Hamza could crack too. Why are people only acting like, and the fans feed into it too? They're like, oh man, Edgar Berlanga, he might knock Hamza Shiraz out. Okay. He got a puncher's chance. He's a puncher. As long as you punch hard, you will always have that chance. But how about when them shots coming back? Edgar Berlanga was talking about his power so much, this nigga forgot that power was the last thing he needed to worry about in this fight. When you going up against a puncher just like yourself, you need to make sure that your defense there too. And what you do, you sitting on the line of fire with Hamza Shiraz with your hands down, just looking for that one big shot, and he catch you before you catch him. And now you looking stupid. You coming off of the canvas because you were so worried about knocking the nigga out. You ain't even think of the idea of you being knocked out. He's sitting here in these face-offs talking about how a truck can hit his chin and he ain't gonna go nowhere. Nigga, since when? You've been getting dropped by 154 pounders, aka Erickson Lubin, in sparring sessions. I see you get put on your ass in the amateurs with protective gear on and bigger fucking gloves. You think that you're gonna just go into the pros with 8-ounce gloves, and because you did 12 rounds with Canelo, all of a sudden you got a granite chin? That's not how this shit work. That's not how this shit work. Anybody can get clipped. But when you so big on being a power puncher and so big on knockouts and stuff like that, it's really hard for you to take into consideration all the other scenarios that may happen in the boxing ring. Like, I don't think for a slight second that Gervonta Davis didn't think he would knock Lamont Roach off. I think he walked in the ring and thought that he was going to clip Lamont because he was coming up in weight. You know what I'm saying? And, guys who usually come up in weight against Gervonta Davis, they get folded. They can't take his power, whatever the case is. He get an early stoppage. He probably like, he be talking about how he was knocking out heavyweights in the gym. And, you know what I'm saying? He knocked out big-ass Mario Barrios at 140. So it shouldn't be nothing to knock out Lamont Roach, right? Wrong. Punchers, they so in love with their power until they realize it ain't everything. Then you start realizing what happens when you go up against that certain style that you can't hit that guy with that big money shot with. What happens when you can't land that money shot on that guy? How about when the guy's defense is too good for you to hit him? What if they just able to take your punching power? Your punching power don't phase them, because when I was boxing, I was a puncher. I knew that for a fact. I was 16 knocking out grown men. That's a fact. Anybody who trained with me, you know what I mean, around that time, they could vouch for me. That shit really happened. You feel what I'm saying? But every puncher always comes across a motherfucker that they either can't land that money shot on, or somebody who takes your punching power and eats that motherfucker like cereal. You see that shit up there? Cereal. Then you wondering, you see that? Cereal's like, I said cereal. Siri being newsy on the motherfucker talking about, mind your fucking business, Siri. Ain't nobody talking to you. I'm talking to the real niggas in the chat. Hit the likes. Punchers never have a plan B. Facts. Well, for the most part, they don't. You feel what I'm saying? Like Wilder. I love Wilder. That was one of my favorite fighters, especially in his prime. Touching everybody. Brazil, go to sleep. Boom. Stavern, go to sleep. Spielka, go to sleep. Then he ran into Tyson fucking Fury. And listen, I thought that they should have stopped that first fight. You know what I'm saying? I think that was past the 10 count, whatever the fuck. That's a different story. That guy handled the way it got handled. But I also seen Wilder drop Fury with shots that motherfuckers don't get up from, and that big white motherfucker kept getting up. And Wilder was like, absolutely, you could tell in his face, he was absolutely shocked that every time he dropped Fury, the motherfucker kept getting up, because he wasn't accustomed to that. But everybody meets that opponent sometime in their life. And that's why I was having that conversation at the gym, that being a puncher, or at least coming to the realization that you're a puncher, may be one of the most toxic things that could, I'm not going to say toxic. I'm going to see exactly how I could word this. Realizing that you have punching power may be one of the worst things that you'll come to realize in the sport, because a lot of people had this, and a lot of fighters, they naive, man. Now, the fighters that actually understand that power ain't everything, salute to them, because it just goes to show that they have an actual boxing brain. They understand the sport and they know their history. You know what I'm saying? That, you can have all the punching power in the world, but, when you fight at an elite level, you can't knock out everybody. Right? Cool. But there's a lot of naive fighters out there that believe they shit don't stink. You feel what I mean? And they feel like, I'll knock him out. They literally think that they can knock everybody out and that their power is the answer to everything. And that's not the case. Not all the time. You might be able to knock this guy out. But then when you face this guy, you realize that your power is the least of their worries. And when you realize that, when punchers realize that, it seems like they don't have no other plan B. They seem to be discouraged. They're shocked. They don't know what else to resort to. You see what I'm saying? Hugo Ju says Brian Norman. That might be the case. Brian Norman might be the case. So I hear what the Normans are saying, Hugo. I hear what Brian Norman's saying. They were saying that pretty much Devin Haney's always been the bigger guy in the ring, and things of that nature. But when he's gotten in the ring with guys the same size as him, he wasn't as effective. So the Normans are coming into this fight confident, because they feel like, because they're natural welterweights and Devin Haney is finally fighting somebody that's their size, you know what I mean, that his style is not going to be as effective as it was at 35 with significantly smaller guys. And I understand that perspective. However, we're not going to sit here and act like Devin Haney don't got the recipe to shut out Brian Norman on the cards. You feel what I'm saying? I was having a conversation with my boy Ree about this. Shout out to my boy Ree. He don't be in the chat that much, but we basically talk every day. And I was saying how I know a lot of people don't like that approach that Devin Haney took against Jose Ramirez. It was boring. You know what I mean? Tom and Jerry, blah, blah, blah. I get it. I wasn't too enthused with the performance as well, but only because he could have taken more opportunities to be offensive. Besides that, he put on a great display of boxing. He just needed to mix a little bit more offense in there, take a little bit more chances. But let's not act like one of the biggest things that punchers hate to do is pick their feet up. Punchers like to plant their feet, fire off shots, and eventually hit you with some shit to get you up out of there. You feel what I'm saying? That's what punchers like to do. They don't like to pick their feet up and have to go look for you and stuff like that. And that's why Brian Norman has recently been very successful with guys who, either try to bring the fight to him or sit in the pocket with him. Jin Sasaki, Derek Cuevas, Giovanni Santella, all those guys came looking for the smoke and got caught up in the flames. You feel me? That's like Brian Norman is going to do well against that style a lot of the time. But with Devin Haney's not going to – I'm under the impression that Devin Haney isn't going to take those chances that Santella took, that Cuevas took, that Jin Sasaki took. No, he's going to be a moving target. You see what I mean? I don't see Devin Haney. Devin Haney understands Brian Norman and how powerful he is as a puncher and all that. You think that he's going to take the time to overcommit to a shot and leave himself open for a counter that Brian Norman going to have waiting on him, one of them leaping left hooks, uppercuts and shit? Nah, he's not going to take those chances. He's going to be on his bicycle. He's going to use his lateral movement when he sees fit. You know what I'm saying? And he's going to keep that world-class jab on Brian Norman and constantly having him resetting. That's what I personally believe. Brian Norman is going to have to understand that his punching power isn't going to be the only thing that he's going to need walking into that ring. But what I actually liked about Brian Norman was he admitted that in interviews, that it's going to take more than just punching power to get the job done. And he's going to do what needs to be done in order to get the victory. I think that was a great answer that Brian Norman gave. And it just shows that he's in the right headspace. He understands that punching power ain't everything. But if he got an opportunity to use that motherfucker, he gonna use that motherfucker. You feel me? But yeah, like I said, punching power is a blessing, but it's just as much of a curse as it is a blessing. Just because it could really have you in this mind frame where, you know what I'm saying, you don't have to do certain things because you a power puncher. You don't have to, go out there and win as many rounds as possible because you a puncher. You're gonna catch up to him eventually. That idea of understanding you have punching power could really develop some terrible habits within you, or some terrible it could cause you to have some negative approaches to the game that you shouldn't even take part in. Like Deontay Wilder, the motherfucker never felt like he had to really polish up on his skills because he knew that if he landed that right hand on you, he was going to knock you to kingdom come. You feel me? Like that's just the reality of the situation, and it ended up fucking him over. In the long run, I mean, you got 10 title defenses, all that, but you probably would have had more if, you know what I mean, you focused on skill along with your power. Gave Gervonta Davis a wake-up call in that Lamont Roach fight. Lamont Roach said, "You wasn't stopping me," and he meant that motherfucker. But anyways, let's talk about this interview that Ariel Helwani put together today, man. He put together some good interviews with Conor, Benn, and Shakur Stevenson. You know what I mean? Shout out to Ariel Helwani for that. I actually like the fact, because I know he started off in the UFC and stuff like that, but I think I don't think that the UFC truly appreciated Ariel Helwani, man. I think that they didn't like that he was asking like the tough questions and stuff like that. And I think they just found a way to get him up out of the sport. But I think that Ariel Helwani's not that bad. You know what I'm saying? He do ask like some weird questions here and there. And, he is square and all that. You know what I mean? Just keep it a buck. He is square. But, he provided some good content for the boxing world. You feel what I'm saying? And somehow, some way, he had Shakur Stevenson and Conor Benn in the same room. They got to talking back and forth, and they have some history considering the fact that Shakur Stevenson said that he'll move up and fight Conor Benn, and Conor Benn's not that big, and he sized him up on several occasions. I guess Conor Benn felt the way about that, and they had their little talks back and forth about fighting each other. Now, they get to talking back and forth, and Shakur Stevenson doubled down on his statement that he will move up to 147 pounds to face Conor Benn. And that just let me know in my head that he doesn't think much of Conor Benn from a skill set aspect. And he feels like, and what also let me think that was, he said, bro, I don't like watching your fights because I don't learn shit from you. Don't nobody learn shit from fighting, from watching one of your fights. So in my mind, Shakur looks at him as a guy who's inferior skill-wise, like a dumb fighter. That's basically what he was calling you. Because if you're not able to learn shit from a fighter, it's because, they don't really got shit going for themselves in terms of, skills or, things of that nature. You feel what I'm saying? Conor Benn says that he'll go down to 147 and his next fight because Chris Eubank is looking for a way out of the fight in September. So he'll fight him at 147 in November. Shakur Stevenson feels like that'll be a great opportunity for him, and he's with it, and he'll do the fight in London. And, it seemed like both of these guys were interested. But I'm going to tell y'all niggas something. Conor Benn don't want that fight. You want to know how I know Conor Benn don't want that fight, bro? Because when you watching that interview with Ariel Helwani, y'all go back and look at it. It seemed like he was going back and forth. Like he wasn't convinced in his mind that he wanted to fight Shakur Stevenson. He was bringing up Shakur Stevenson's style in terms of, being on his bicycle and running, which was absolutely ridiculous considering his last performance against William Cepeda, right? Ridiculous statement to even make at this point. If you call Shakur Stevenson a runner at this point in time, it's like, bro, you just a hater. So that's one. So him saying that, it just let me know that he don't really want to deal with that type of trouble, like motherfuckers being on their bicycle and not giving them opportunities to create offense and shit like that. Another thing, he kept talking about how, he doesn't think that Shakur Stevenson is a big name in the UK and stuff like that. And, because of that, he doesn't know if that's going to be an enticing fight to make. And he said that as well. Another thing he said was that he feels like a world title fight would be more significant than a Shakur Stevenson fight. He said all of that while Shakur Stevenson, like he kept going back and forth, like, oh, let's make it happen next. Oh, let's make it happen next. Oh, but you know what I mean? A world title fight. I should have fought for a world title 2 years ago. But I decided to take the big fights. And, he all over the place. He on both sides of the fence. So because he got that, that mentality, it just makes me know that he's not really convinced on fighting Shakur Stevenson. How the way that he was saying it to Shakur Stevenson. Like he was saying, oh yeah, we can do it next year. Like I'll definitely fight you, blah, blah, blah. Then he telling Ariel Helwani, other things, just letting me know that that's not really his number one option. So do I think that fight happens in November? I don't think so. You feel what I'm saying? I personally don't believe that. I think that Conor Benn, especially since Jaron Ennis is moving up to 154 pounds, I think he's going to try to look for a world title opportunity. He told y'all guys a long time ago what he wants to fight. He said Amir Khan, Kell Brook, both retired, by the way. He mentioned Manny Pacquiao's name at one point in time, who was just coming out of retirement at 46 years old. Then he also brings up Mario Barrios, guys like that. He said that they were more notable than Jaron Ennis. But you know what I mean? Like, and 3 out of the 4 fighters that he had mentioned at that time were retired. So I thought that shit was hilarious, but it seems like he still has that mentality. He feels like he could beat a Mario Barrios. You know what I mean? So the Mario Barrios, Manny Pacquiao winner, both of those guys were mentioned on his hit list. Of course, he would like to fight the winner of them because he feel like that's his best opportunity at winning the world title in the division. So I don't really think that Shakur Stevenson is actually his top priority at this point in time. And I know, and I didn't really want to say this, but Shakur, when you really look over the landscape on 135, because I don't really like the idea of you going up to 47 anyway. I don't like that. You feel what I mean? I think you should stay at 135 and explore the best opportunities there. If not, possibly a good opportunity at 140, whatever. I think Floyd Schofield might be your best option right now. Like, I know that you don't want to be led on for a motherfucker to pull out a fight again. I understand that. You know what I mean? There's a lot that goes into a training camp. There's a lot of money that's being put into a training camp and stuff like that. But really assess your options right now in the 135-pound division. Really, really think about it. It's not really much going on. Raymond Mortataya, would he fight you? I don't know. I don't know. That, you know, I don't know. Abdullah Mason and Sam Noakes about to fight each other for a belt. You can't get that one. You can't get that belt yet. And plus, Top Rank not going, even if Abdullah win the world title, they're not going to give you Abdullah Mason right away. They ain't going to do that. Keyshawn Davis moved up. You wasn't going to fight the nigga anyway. You was just buddied up with him after your fight. Who's the other champion of the division? So it's the WBA. Who's the Damn, why I always forget the fucking champions? Well, Gervonta Davis is WBA. Gervonta Davis got other shit going on outside of boxing. He not even worried about boxing. They talking about Gervonta Davis wasn't training for 3 weeks prior to getting arrested in Miami. And you know that August 16th shit, I told y'all that shit was not happening. There wasn't enough time for promotion. So if the promotion's up in the air like that, that just lets you know they not putting that fight together anytime soon. You know what I mean? It was gonna get pushed back just like the first Lamont fight did. So Gervonta Davis caught up with some other shit. Hugo says Jermaine Ortiz. I think he had 140 now. T says Shakur versus Roach. That's a possibility, but I think Roach is sitting out, just waiting for that call for Gervonta Davis and them to get a date going. You best believe Lamont Roach gonna sit there and wait for a Gervonta Davis fight. You know why? Because for one, that's his biggest opportunity, and two, now he knows that he could probably beat Gervonta Davis in the second fight, and beating Gervonta Davis is the biggest win that he could get at this current time at 135. Beating Tank will put him on a different level, considering the fact that Gervonta Davis is the biggest star in comparison to beating a Shakur Stevenson. Let's keep it real. I think Shakur Stevenson a tougher fight for Lamont Roach than Gervonta Davis. Gervonta Davis is going to give you opportunities offensively that Shakur Stevenson is not going to give you. Gervonta Davis is a lot easier to hit in comparison to Shakur Stevenson. Right? Tank could be more dangerous, you know what I mean? Because he got that one-punch knockout power and shit like that. But I feel like I think that there's less obstacles in terms of making it competitive facing Tank in comparison to facing Shakur. Shakur Stevenson's a harder style. Hugo Juice says Lucas Body. Does Lucas Body and Shakur, do we want to see that? I haven't really heard shit from Lucas Body since he knocked out H2O. What the fuck Lucas Body been doing? Now, I know he was supposed to fight Floyd Schofield, and Floyd Schofield pulled out and all that, but the momentum that he had after that H2O shit practically gone now because ain't nobody talking about Lucas Body. I'm sorry, like that's just the reality. Lucas Body got to do something else to get the people attention because we passed that H2O knockout. We done had some crazy knockouts after that are more recent. You know what I mean? That people are talking about. He had a homecoming. He just won. Yeah, Hugo, I understand that, but nobody's talking about it. I don't know if we really big on Shakur and Lucas Body fighting. And to be honest with you, is Lucas Body deserving of a WBC title shot? He could rematch Edwin, but ain't nobody trying to see that. That's true. Albert Bell. Didn't Albert Bell just get a fight announced? Didn't they say he fighting somebody? Well, I'm tripping. I just read something about Albert Bell. Yeah, he about to fight in August. He fighting August 30th. Baboon Balloon says Lucas won another fight on the Tyson Paul undercard, but it went the distance, which was lackluster. Hey, man, I think that the dude that he fought, the dude that he fought came to my gym to finish training. Let me see. The dude that Lucas Body just fought was at my gym finishing up training. Nah, it was yeah, it was. Yeah. The dude that he fought, the dude that Lucas Body fought on the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson undercard, his name was Armando Casamonica, 14-0 dude. He came to my gym to finish training for his fight. He was getting the last little workout in. He got his last little sparring session in before the Lucas Body fight. You know what I mean? Shakur versus Pitbull, let's run it. You know Pitbull will never fight Shakur Stevenson. They've been offered that fight to Isaac. You know what I mean? And they offered Isaac the Keyshawn Davis fight. Isaac don't want to fight them dudes, bro. He don't want to fight no. Let's keep it a buck. Isaac Cruz don't want to fight nobody that's black and could box at all. He just want to stick to fighting other Mexicans, and that's it. He don't want to deal with anybody that got any type of ring intelligence. Anybody that'll keep a jab in his face and, use movement and, run him into shots and turn him. Isaac Cruz don't want to deal with that. That's not happening. Silks Bando says Shakur versus Matias. I'm not going to say that Shakur will never fight him, but I don't believe that's a fight that he's looking for. And I don't blame Shakur for that. Why go down that route against that particular style when you should be you should really be fighting the guy that's considered the number one guy in your division? Like, why would I fight Subriel Matias? For what? When I could go, when I should be, like, the Gervonta Davis fight is a fight that I should be pursuing. Or a unification fight in my division. Like, I don't know. And plus, Subriel Matias about to fight motherfucking Dalton Smith. About to fight a nigga named Dalton. Dalton gotta be specifically a UK name, because I never heard a nigga from the US named Dalton. What the fuck is a Dalton? But anyways, Dalton Smith, Subriel Matias, they look like Turkey about to make that shit happen for November. Then after that, I think Turkey said that he wants to make that Puello Matias rematch. So seems like Subriel Matias is occupied, which is good. You know what I mean? I like fighters being active, especially Subriel. You know what I mean? I'm just happy Subriel was able to get another world title, pretty much cementing his legacy in Puerto Rico for being a two-time world champion. That's impressive. In a hot division too. 140 ain't no bum division. You feel me? Coffee Player says, Mark, you said Tank versus Shakur is a 50-50, but you edge it towards Tank. Do you still think that after their last performances? My mind changes all the time, bro, because, I can see ways that Gervonta Davis can, give Shakur problems in terms of, having hand speed, explosiveness, and, Shakur Stevenson's, Gervonta Davis got some ring intelligence as well, so he might be able to, catch Shakur Stevenson with something, you know what I mean, and probably change the entire course of the fight. But then again, I've seen that Shakur Stevenson is very versatile in defense alone. This man gave you, like, Shakur Stevenson. I don't know if y'all was really paying attention like that, but when I'm watching Shakur Stevenson, this motherfucker literally gave you, like, 3 different types of defense in one fight. He gave you the range, right? Where he planting his feet, he keeping that lead hand out there, you know what I mean? And when Cepeda would try to close the gap, he'll run him into a fast combination or whatever the case is, you know what I mean? Or stab him to the body, bring some hooks around the elbow, shit like that. Then he giving you the lateral movement. Once he felt like he closed out around real strong, you know what I mean? He heard the 10-second bell. He get on his lateral movement. You know what I mean? Cepeda couldn't keep up with him. The bell will ring. He solidified around. I seen that. Then I'm seeing this man giving you defense with the Philly shell off of the ropes. 3 different styles of defense in one night, and he did all 3 of them masterfully. That's a problem for somebody like Gervonta Davis who, is always looking to land that kill shot. You know what I'm saying? Like, Shakur could give you so many different looks. And I feel like Shakur Stevenson using his feet because he's shown that he could use his feet very well. I think Tank will have a lot of problems with that, and I think his team knows that he'll have a lot of problems with, the footwork of Shakur Stevenson, because they had that infamous quote. Coach Calvin Ford had this infamous quote: "Why would we fight Shakur if we can't do what we want to do?" That's a big statement. A lot of people overlook it. They try to, interpret it as it being something else. But I knew exactly what he meant by that. He got wobbled on the ropes. I don't think he really got wobbled, Hugo. I think that he lost his footing. I think he was off balance. He got caught with a shot. You know what I mean? And listen, it was a good shot. Let's not get it wrong. But I didn't see Shakur hurt. I didn't see that. I seen him lose his footing. You know what I mean? And he got right back to the defense and got right back in his bag. If he was truly hurt, you know what I mean, we probably would have seen, Cepeda possibly put him on the canvas, whatever the case is, or we would have seen Shakur trying to tie him up. It seemed like Shakur was pretty composed in there after, losing his footing in there. So was it a good shot? Yes. If he'd have went down, would it have been a knockdown? Yes. May it have caught his attention? Yes. But that didn't look like a hurt fighter to me. A hurt fighter was what the fuck I saw Edgar Berlanga go through against Hamza Shiraz right after that. That was a hurt fighter to me. When he got hurt with that first left hook, and we seen how the way he froze up, lost his foot, and he was standing completely square in front of Hamza Shiraz, that was a hurt fighter to me, because he didn't even know that he was out of position after he got his shit rocked. He lost complete control of himself. You feel me? Anonymous says Tank does have a quicker first step, though. I hope Shakur doesn't pull back in straight lines for that fight. That's the thing. I've seen Shakur Stevenson pull straight back in fights. You know what I'm saying? I've seen him do it against Valdez. I've seen him do it against Christopher Diaz at times. But Shakur Stevenson is also good at circling around as well. You know what I mean? He'll use his L step or whatever the case is, and you know what I mean? Try to keep himself off the ropes and shit like that. So I've seen him do that, but I've also seen him circle around as well. So I don't think that'll be like a difficult thing for him to do. I think he could make that adjustment pretty easily. Because pull it back in a straight line against a puncher like Gervonta Davis, that's not a good thing. Gervonta Davis could step behind that jab. He could loop that hook from his backhand or shoot the left hand straight and really cause a problem. He could have something big going on. But I think that Shakur Stevenson is such a student. I think he's such a student, and he knows the game so well. I think Shakur will be a great boxing coach, bro. I think he'll really be a great boxing coach. The way that he's able to break down fights and know, what styles are caused. Because I've heard Shakur call fights that be like, yo, I think this gonna happen. I don't think this shit gonna happen how y'all think. I think this person gonna have trouble with this, and then it actually happens. So it's like, and Shakur really know the ins and outs of the game. He know what style would cause trouble to, another style and stuff like that. So I think Shakur Stevenson has watched enough tape on Gervonta Davis, and he sparred Gervonta Davis, so he knows what Gervonta Davis is bringing. So I think he'll know, not to pull straight back on Tank. And he be so focused in the ring, I don't really see him getting caught slipping, bro. Gervonta Davis lands something on Shakur, it got to be some shit that Shakur never seen before or would have never anticipated from Tank. You just see he got a YouTube channel now. Who you talking about, Shakur? I don't understand why fighters don't make YouTube content more often. Bro, you got so many people that want to know what you got going on in your life. And if you want to keep your shit private, that's your prerogative. But, there's so many people, boxer fans, that are invested in who you are and how the way you go about. There's boxer fans that actually want to know what you do in your personal life. I'm not like that, but there's plenty of people who do. So, if you were to put together, some type of segment on YouTube where you giving people what Floyd used to do. Floyd literally used to record himself picking up money at a casino, driving around the city, he literally did a vlog with Fight Hype where after the Manny Pacquiao fight, it was like 4 a.m. He went and got some some egg McMuffins from McDonald's. Like, people don't do that anymore. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like fighters should do that more often. You should make you should give your fan those moments to, experience. Yeah, it's always great to promote yourself. Yeah. That's what Floyd used to do. I feel like a lot of people, they took a lot of things from Floyd, but they ain't really learn too much from, the way he would market himself. Like doing that, like you think you think Floyd really gave a fuck about winning the dancing, what's that, Dancing with the Stars competition? You think he cared about that? Not at all. But he knew that going on that show could add to his fan base. You know what I'm saying? Help make him a household name. Do you think that Floyd wanted to be a pro wrestler? No. But he knew that participating in WrestleMania would, diversify, I guess you would say, his fan base. A lot of people don't really take that into consideration, bro. Like, Floyd was a marketing genius, not just a defensive genius, not just a boxing genius. He was a marketing genius as well. Floyd, he had all the qualities, and he took the time to really master the shit, the ins and outs of boxing, the business and the fighting side. Tank will get mad and try to try and bite Shakur. I think Tank will really get frustrated, bro. I think he might lose his cool. Like, Tank a loose cannon like that. Look what he got going on right now. He's very, very bad at controlling his emotions. And I think Tank the type dude, when shit don't go his way, like he'll crash the fuck out. That's what I think. And I think that's why I think his team understands that. And that's why they've been purposely, in my opinion, avoiding certain styles. And they try to play it like, oh man, but Tank, Tank's a star. Tank, Tank do things whenever he want to do them. We're not gonna pay them that. We're not gonna. They want this money. We're not gonna pay them that. See, I know the numbers. That nut ass shit. Yo, Floyd did a good job with that Dancing with the Stars shit too. But when you look at them old 24/7s, Floyd used to dance all the time. So that's just something that I guess he was good at. Go Get the Money says Tank got mental health issues. That's why bro lashing out the way he does. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it, man. And when you look at Gervonta Davis's story, you could tell that he experienced a lot of trauma early on in life. And when you add fame and money to the whole situation, you know what I mean, it probably makes your situations even worse. You know what I'm saying? They say more money, more problems. You know what I'm saying? Tanker probably already had a lot to deal with internally, and then now you're giving all this, now you're creating all this all these crazy external issues that's going on in your personal life, and maybe that's a bit overwhelming for Tank. He don't know how to go about it. I heard him talking about therapy on several occasions, and how he wants to improve himself, but it seems like he's procrastinating on the whole situation. I think Tank just need to really stay away from certain people. And look, I don't know if he's beating on these bitches, because I think that same girl that recently got him arrested once before. And, then she went and told the police that he never did nothing to her. So they let the whole situation alone. Then now she's saying that Tank hit her again. So I don't know. The bitch could be a liar. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've had them claims put on me, and I never, on my son's life, if I'm lying, God strike me dead. On my son's life, I never put hands on a woman in my life, and they labeled me an abuser just because they was bitter about how the way our relationship ended. You feel me? Like, so I know that Is there niggas who beat bitches? Yeah, I know a few of them. I know a few of them. But I also know a lot of women that lie to try to ruin a man's reputation out of spite. I know that too. So, I mean, I'm not in the rooms when Tank and his, child's mother be at odds. I don't know. You said let's talk boxing. Man, I'm talking about whatever I want to talk about. I'm talking about whatever I want to talk about. Somebody asked about Tank mental health issues. Yo, why you keep repeating yourself, bro? Chill out. That'll get you packed. Hugo, you gotta chill. That'll really get you packed. Won't do that spam shit. Tay says Jake Paul tried to pay Don King step aside money so he could fight Badu Jack. Step aside money for what? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, this nigga trying to dictate the conversation. Nigga, this ain't your show. If you want to dictate the conversation, make your own YouTube channel and go live, nigga. Tripping. Yeah, I don't know why. If you want, don't tell me let's talk boxing, bro. Ask me a question and I'll answer it. Don't try to, you know what I mean? Let me try and steer the ship, nigga. Great Gambino said, yo, I wonder if they have sparring footage of Tank and Shakur. Well, I heard Shakur say they do got footage. And he said that he got all his sparring footages on his iPad. Somebody need to go steal Shakur iPad. Where is Shakur Stevenson's iPad at? Is it in Houston? I think we need to, you know what I'm saying? Say no, let me stop playing. I ain't about to be playing with Jay Prince and them. Fuck all that. But I've heard Shakur say that he got all his sparring sessions on all his old sparring sessions on his iPad, and I believe it. I believe it. I believe it. You know what I mean? A lot of them dudes, they record their sparring sessions and shit like that. People do it all the time. You know, we don't allow that at our gym, but I know like a lot of high level fighters that do just to film study, see what they did right, what they did wrong, and all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Silks Bando said, I want to see Canelo knock out Jake so bad. Yeah, that'd be the one time I might root for Canelo. I ain't gonna lie to you. Yo, did you just repeat yourself again? Why you keep copying and pasting, Hugo? I've seen that message like 3 times, dog. Why you tripping? You see how Munguia playing Pacheco or no other 168 came out and made fun of Berlanga and retweeted a knockout video like he makes fun of them when they fight. Stay humble, fellas. All right, cool. Cool. Great comment, brother. Please don't write it again. I don't know. You kind of throwing me up. When this nigga Hugo made his page, bro? Now you getting the attention that you want, nigga. When did you make this page? Are you a new page, brother? Because you just started coming around not too long ago. Are you a new page? Oh, you've been out since 2018? Not too long ago. 6 years ago? Hugo Juice, your profile pic real weird, by the way. What's this weird ass painting that you got as your profile pic, brother? You got mountains and an ocean with a boat, trees and shit. Like, what you doing, brother? Why you got a hotel painting as your profile pic? No, I ain't trying to pack nobody, bro. If I wanted to, I'd have been did it. No, I don't want to see a picture of you. I don't want to see a picture of a nigga named Juice. You know what I'm saying? Nigga named Juice. I don't want to know what you look like. You know what I mean? Hugo actually brought up a great point. Any nigga named Juicy Juice, I don't want to I don't want to know what they look like. You feel me? But Hugo actually made a great point. I was actually going to address this, by the way. He said Eddie Reynoso said that he's taking over nutrition and diet anyone that's in his camp. Let's actually bring that quote up. Real quick. Eddie Reynoso put out a statement. He says the following: starting now, I'll be working 100% with the team that I can supervise. I've let the boxers who have come to me to train have their own nutrition team, their own work team, quite independently of what the training entails. So what am I going to do from now on? Work 100% with the team that I can supervise and manage, not because the other boxers have had a bad team, but so that I have 100% control of the boxers I'm going to train. Oscar Valdez is an impeccable young man. He's a very disciplined young man like few I've seen in boxing. This problem arose, it was resolved, and the fighter defended his title. Jaime McGee is also a very disciplined fighter who had been having a great career, and this small detail comes up. Now, he calls that a small detail, by the way. Pay attention. Eddie Reynoso just called Jaime Munguia testing positive for PEDs a small detail. That lets you know how he really don't care about niggas testing positive. Now, what I'm going to do is get advice and get a good nutrition team that is more attached to VADA and that is closer to the people who manage VADA to try to do things better. So that's what Eddie Reynoso said. So he's not taking any accountability whatsoever for the 5, 6, 7 fighters that have tested positive for PEDs under his tutelage or have at least worked with him in the past. He's blaming their training teams. He's blaming their nutrition teams. So now he's saying that if you want to work for me from now on, hold up. Who is this old nigga in my chat? He said Mazuma TV should fight S. Stevenson. Who is this old nigga in my chat? Nigga, you look like a Vienna sausage, nigga. The fuck is you talking about? I should fight Shakur Stevenson. Nigga, you need to go fight your motherfucking your type 2 diabetes, fuck nigga. Any nigga that old that got hoop earrings should not be in my chat trying to be funny. You feel me? Stop it. The fuck is he talking about? Oh no, you trying to get my shit copyrighted. This thing got a hoop. This nigga, whoa, hold up. But that nigga got like 3 hoop earrings on the same ear. Oh, you's a nasty old man with them husky ass bags under your eyes. God damn. That nigga look like he ride the shit out of Harley Davidson motorcycle. Look at it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he wildin'. Look, he got a Buzz Lightyear doll in the background. What you be doing with them dolls, nigga? Why they all got little holes where they ass at? You's a little freaky ass old head. Go ahead with that shit you talking about, cuz. Bro look like Popeye. The nigga look like fuck. Never mind. I forgot this nigga name. He was on fuck, never mind. Yeah, fuck out of here telling me I should go fight Shakur Stevenson, nigga. Go fight your type 2, nigga. Go fight your pacemaker, you old ass nigga. Anyways, back to Eddie Reynoso before that old nigga interrupted me. He basically throwing everybody under the bus and is taking zero accountability for his fighters testing positive for PEDs. And I guess I would understand why he wouldn't take accountability for it, because he's not trying to fuck his money up. He making all this money off of Jaime Munguia, Canelo Alvarez, Oscar Valdez, Julio Cesar Martinez, Luis Neri, all these guys that he's dealing with. He's getting a percentage off of all of these guys. So he eating, you feel me? And he not trying to fuck that up by admitting that he, got motherfuckers using PEDs in his camp. He would never do that. So, I wouldn't expect him to, go outside of that. You feel me? But the fact that he's like literally, first of all, he's defending drug chiefs for one. You know what I'm saying? He's like, oh no, they're nice guys, blah, blah, blah. Bro, we didn't ask you about these guys, whether they were nice or not. Were they guilty of using PEDs or not? Hugo Juice said, bro, I come to realize you don't like Mexicans. It's all right, though. You know, Hugo, eat a dick. Eat a dick. When the fuck I ever said I don't like Mexicans? You was a weirdo, nigga. 2 out of my 3 favorite fighters in the sport of boxing right now is Mexican, you dumbass nigga. The fuck is you talking about? David Benavidez, Mexican. Ben Rodriguez, Mexican. The fuck? And then there's Jaron Ennis, who's a black man. What the fuck is you even talking about? And Diego Pacheco, one of my favorite fighters as well. That's a Mexican man. How the fuck I don't like Mexican fighters? You dumbass nigga. He was a weirdo. I'm glad I packed him the fuck up. Hate when niggas try to put that shit on. So I'm over here criticizing drug chiefs. Never said nothing about them being Mexican. I'm criticizing drug chiefs and a nigga who has fighters that are testing positive for PEDs. And I hate Mexicans? Fucking weird. Weirdo. But anyways, Eddie Reynoso taking zero accountability for it. And not only that, but he's actually considering testing positive for PEDs a small detail. How was that a small detail? How could you come out your mouth to say that that's a small detail? Like that's like it's insignificant. Like it don't mean much. Like what the fuck? What are we even talking about? So now he's saying, all right, y'all motherfuckers keep getting caught with PEDs and all that. I'm gonna throw your team under the bus for this one. I'm not taking zero accountability for it. However, if you're continuing to train with me, I need to be in total control of everything that you're doing. Not only that, but I'm going to work with some nutritionists or whatever the case is that's going to work closely with VADA to make sure we don't have these problems again. Nigga, you should have thought about that when you was 4 or 5 PED users in. I would have been thinking about that as soon as I got to like 2 or 3. I'm nigga, what the fuck? Hold up. The fuck is we doing? You had to wait till motherfucking somebody that was sponsored or at least dealing with Canelo Alvarez and them to test positive for you. Like, all right, that's enough. The 6, 7 person that was associated with your team, all right, that's enough. We have to do something else. God damn. How many times you gonna let your bitch cheat on you before you walk out the door, nigga? Man, she cheated on me like 6 times, but she still comes home to me. Now, how stupid you sound, you stupid ass nigga. I still think she loves me. I just, I understand her, Yeah, you the fucking weirdo. Like, how can you say I don't like Mexicans? What are you talking about? And those who know my story know that, like, my ancestry go back to Mexico. I got Mexican in me. Believe it or not. Anybody, you can just ask my pop, he tell you. He be popping up in the chat. He can tell you. One of my 6th, 7th, 8th great grandfather came from Mexico and found his way to Puerto Rico. So that'd be me disrespecting my ancestors if I really dislike Mexicans. Stupid. And I don't go against the ancestors. You feel me? I love my ancestors. Yeah, they weirdos. I don't understand that. How you could criticize somebody and all of a sudden you hate their race? How that work? So if I criticize Manny Pacquiao, I hate Filipinos. If I criticize Caleb Plant, I don't like white people? And then y'all be the ones saying that racism don't exist in boxing. Racism don't exist in boxing, and why is race the first thing you resort to when I criticize a fighter? Come on. Yeah, Hugo just want attention. He don't get enough at home. You feel me? Nigga be like, his dad walking the door. He be like, Dad, shut the fuck up, son. Sorry, Dad. One of them. Shut the fuck up. Yo, Ramon, why you keep repeating yourself now? You want to be one of them too? How many times you gonna say the same shit? What's up with y'all today? What's up with y'all niggas keep repeating yourselves? I read y'all the first time. If I ain't say it out loud, it's because it didn't contribute to the conversation. Right here, right here. You want attention that bad? Send the super chat, nigga. What's up with y'all niggas? If y'all want y'all comment to be highlighted that bad, send $1. Do something. Conversate is not a word, Ramon. Put down the mat and pick up a book, brother. Some weird people in the chat today, right, Marissa? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Marissa, you gotta use your wrench, baby. You know what I mean? Oh, look. We got another troll. Let me see how the picture look this time. Let me see how my pic look this time. Coffee packed in, but I still want to see. Yo. Yo, they got me looking like a bad bitch. You know that I'm a bad bitch. I eat my rice and cabbage. Yo, that's crazy. I gotta send that to my girl. My girl think that's the funniest shit in the world. I screenshot all of them, by the way. I'm gonna put together a compilation. See, I'm not a troll, homie. I'm leaving, no problem. Ain't nobody tell you to leave. I'm saying, why you repeating yourself? Yeah, bro. Motherfuckers got a lot of time on their hands. But anyways, let's get into some open boxing topics, man. What's on the people's mind? What y'all want to discuss? What do y'all feel like is interesting? Anybody want to know my perspective on anything? What we talking about, baby? We've been on here for an hour and some change. You feel what I'm saying? I'm probably gonna be on here like another 10 minutes, and I'm gonna say my goodbyes. You feel what I'm saying? The great Gambino in the building. What up? He says, you think it's over for Edgar, or should he take some time off, train in the areas needed? To be honest with you, coming off of that type of loss, I think Edgar Berlanga should take the rest of the year off. You feel what I'm saying? For like health reasons, personally. You know what I mean? Ain't that much time left in the year anyway. It's 5 months left until 2026, right? So I think he should take the rest of the year off. You know what I mean? I think he should go back in the gym, watch that fight back, understand what he did right, what he did wrong, all that good stuff. Like I said, I think he needs to go back to the basics in terms of matchmaking. I think that Edgar Berlanga should go back to those. He needs to revisit. Not even revisit. He needs to visit those steps that he skipped previously in his career. I think that Edgar Berlanga has some catching up to do. I think that he's well behind. And I understand that, you used to getting a certain type of money, but if you want to actually have some type of longevity in your career, I think you should rewind back. I think you should get in the ring with tough, guys that are beatable, but guys you can actually learn from, like some sturdy vets that done faced champions, and may have not been a world champion, but gave world champions a tough fight, a tough outing. You know what I'm saying? After that, then you can start facing some former world champions. Add some former world champions to your toolbox, brother. You know what I mean? You could probably get uh Anthony Durrell fight or something. You know what I mean? Somebody that you could probably beat, considering that he older now, but you know what I mean? It's doable. You know what I mean? You could possibly beat him, considering he's on the decline right now. You know, you could face some. I don't know if like guys like David Lemieux still around, but you could probably get a David Lemieux. You know what I'm saying? Like guys like that possess some type of problems, but shit that you could actually get by and look back and learn from. You know what I mean? Like and I know David Lemieux is probably a terrible fucking example right now, but you know what I mean? Like David Benavidez fought him. You know what I mean? He fought him at one point in time, and he packed up David Lemieux easily, but that was actually somebody to actually get under his belt that actually done fought at a high level before, even if it wasn't at 168. David Lemieux, I think he was world champion at 160. Bring Daniel Jacobs out of retirement, puff up the record. That would be a good one. That'd be a good one. He said, Silks Bando said Edgar was already off in the head. Remember when he said he would go up and fight AJ? I didn't believe that for 1 second. To me, that was him clout chasing. AJ had a fight coming up with Daniel Dubois at the time, from what I understand. AJ was being heavily talked about, and I think that Edgar Berlanga used that opportunity to come up off of his name. A lot of these young dudes, they be capping, bro. Or they'll attach their names to somebody else to try to get a little bit of publicity. You know what I mean? That's just the era that we in. So that's how I looked at it. I don't think for 1 second that he will ever fight Anthony Joshua. Just my personal opinion. Yeah, he needs to go back. He needs to right some wrongs, if you will. You know what I'm saying? He needs to go back to the drawing board, realize that he missed a lot of steps that stunned his growth as a fighter. He's still young. He still got time. Go visit those steps. You know what I'm saying? And once you get that experience under your belt, then you might be in a better position to fight for a world title or be somebody notable. You may possibly do that. You know what I mean? It's not like Edgar Berlanga got his ass whooped, but like in his career in totality, he hasn't taken a massive amount of damage. He still got something left in the tank. He should fight Ronald Ellis. The dude be training with Canelo. Yeah, I'm familiar with Ronald Ellis. He fought David Benavidez. Yes, that's the right direction to go into. But I wouldn't fight Ronald Ellis coming off of a loss. I'm not going to do that. I wouldn't do that. Like, Ronald Ellis is beatable, but he's not a nut neither. You feel me? I wouldn't fight Ronald Ellis off the rip. You feel me? But yeah. Silk said, have I checked out Marco Verde? He nice. He just turned professional. I heard of him, but I haven't taken the time to watch him just yet. But, just reading up on what's going on in the boxing world, his name is ringing bells. So that's a good sign. You know what I mean? Is he training with Shakur? If not, he should. No, he trains out in Florida with his like coach that he had in the past. I forgot his name's like Mark something. I think his last name was like an F or something. But yeah, he's with Mark, and from what I understand, Shakur Stevenson trains with his grandfather, Wally Moses. And I think they relocated to Houston, but I think they trained at Colorado Springs, something like that. But I think Shakur and Edgar cool from the amateurs, but I don't think they train together, no. I think Edgar be training with Erickson Lubin and them. Like, they don't got the same trainer, but they be around each other. You said AJ would have unalived him? Yeah. If you getting rocked by Hamza Shiraz and shit like that, you definitely not taking no. If you get hurt from a left hook from Hamza Shiraz, you not taking Anthony Joshua left hook, bro. Anthony Joshua really spark shit. That's one thing about AJ. AJ catch you on the chin with a good jaw, you probably ain't gonna make it, bro. You ain't gonna make it out the round. If Cora fought Conor, what weight would they fight at? Well, in the interview, they said they'll fight at 147. Edgar still got it in him. I don't believe that, brother. Well, it's too early to tell. We don't know for real. Harry Crespo, the old nasty boy in the chat. He said Edgar still got it in him. He still got that concussion in him, for sure. The Shiraz's best punch. Shit, look like Shiraz punching with both hands, for real, for real. Look like that straight, that right hand and that left hook dangerous. Goddamn. And it was accurate too. When he threw that left hook right hand, that right hand got right inside the guard, hit him square on the chin. You know what I mean? That's hard to do. Punching through somebody's guard, not easy. It take a lot of repetition, a lot of training. You feel me? Shiraz a whole new beast at 68. Yeah, bro. We just need Canelo to fucking put them. He need to drop them titles already, man. We need to see somebody new popping off in the division. Canelo holding the division back. Do I think Diego Pacheco KOs McCumbie this Saturday? Yes, I do. I do. I believe so. I think he gonna stop McCumbie to the body. I think McCumbie gonna come out strong. He gonna try to rough up Diego Pacheco, but I think Diego Pacheco is a superior boxer. You know what I mean? I think his jab gonna give McCumbie some problems. McCumbie might run into some shit, to be honest with you. I'm gonna watch a little. The only McCumbie fight I've ever seen was Caleb Plant, though. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna watch a little bit of that. I know he's strong. I know physically. I know he could crack as well. But Diego Pacheco, I think he levels above a lot of these dudes in the division. You know what I mean? I'm right with you, Anonymous. I don't think any of us could stand Canelo. He on some nut shit. He said, I fuck with AJ heavy. No, I don't. Anybody that know me know I don't really fuck with AJ. But I ain't gonna sit here. If I was to sit here and act like he can't punch, I'd be a fucking fool. For sure. He could crack. AJ ain't, besides Wilder, he ain't really duck no smoke. So it is what it is. That just go to show how dangerous Wilder was, though, because AJ was fighting everybody except him. Motherfucker, he fought Vladimir. He fought Dubois. He fought Usyk twice. He fought Ruiz twice. Joseph Parker. He fighting everybody and their mom except Wilder. Am I watching Pacquiao versus Barrios or Benn versus Kafu? Both. Both on them. Marissa, come on, you know better than that. 50 million proof of funds, yup. Her Al Heyman and them put that 50 together and sent the proof of funds their way. Then AJ started talking about how he not going to sell his soul after he the one who put a price tag on the fight. Same shit Teofimo Lopez did. You know what I mean? He sent Devin Haney a bullshit offer from Top Rank. Devin Haney went searching, got a better offer, better money from Turkey Al-Sheikh and them. He said he's not going to sell his soul for $15 million. But he was ready to sell his soul for less money on a Top Rank card against Devin Haney. Ain't that some shit? You see, I see how that's pussy shit. He was acting like he was with, you know what I mean, that deal that Top Rank was offering for T.O. and Devin Haney. Devin Haney didn't like the deal, so he walked away from it because he knew that there was more money that could have been made. So he goes and finds somebody else who's willing to put up more money, Turkey Al-Sheikh. They offered T.O. to fight. $15 million. I'm not selling my soul for $15 million. Oh, I don't want to fight a Muslim in a Muslim country And Turkey Al-Sheikh promised me some things. You know what I mean? That was in the contract. Now he's going against the contract. And if you want to call me a duck, you call me a duck. Fuck that nigga. Usyk Dubois in the UK, right? I don't know the fight time. I'm gonna have to Google that, brother. But Usyk Dubois is in the UK. I was talking to somebody at my job, and they was talking about how they was going to the fight. And I'm sitting here. I think I told y'all live. He's like, "Yeah, man, I'm going to this boxing event. His name's like Daniel Dubois versus Usyk." I was like, "Oh yeah, oh, that's cool." Don't really know too much about that. Actually, I don't never watch boxing. Bro, I'm gonna tell y'all a quick story back in my old job. So there was this boxing event that was going on in South Philly around this time. And we had 3 professional fighters that was on the card. Right? And I'm talking with this dude. He was a fucking weirdo. He tried to snitch on me talking about I was using my phone. And he was one of them niggas. He saw hold on. So let me so I ain't really like dude because he was a rat. He was the type to go back and tell the boss, "Oh, this guy on his phone, right? He shouldn't be on his phone. That's against our policy, boss. You need to go tell him, boss." One of them hoe ass niggas, right? So I ain't really talk to him. So he was trying to make like conversation and shit like that. And plus, I think he went the other way too. You feel me? I think he was a little, fruitcake and all that. So he was like, "Oh, so what you doing this weekend?" I'm like, "I ain't doing nothing. He's like, "Oh, okay. Yeah, man, I'm going to this boxing event. I think it's at like the 2300 arena." In my head, I'm like, this bitch ass nigga about to be at our event. But I don't say nothing. He was like, "Yeah, man, it's like these guys from this gym called like Pivot Boxing." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, oh, okay. Yeah. So that's cool, man." Bro, why this nigga Googles Pivot Boxing? He clicks on the website. And he like clicking through the website and shit like that. And he clicks trainers, bro. And I'm the first face that pop up on the drum. So he looking at the computer. Mind you, I didn't say nothing about. I don't be talking about boxing with these niggas. I don't even like this nigga. I don't want to talk to him. Bro, he's like, "Yeah, Pivot Boxing, blah, blah, blah." So he was supporting our guy, Oluwafemi Oyeleye, our Nigerian undefeated 154-pound contender, right? Because I think he was Nigerian too. So he was supporting, Nigerians, they were supportive of each other. So somehow he heard about Femi, wanted to support the show, found out where Femi was from and shit like that, what gym he was training out of. And apparently he went to my gym to buy tickets. Never seen him, but he said he went to the gym to buy tickets. So he click, he looking through the website and shit like that. Bro, this nigga click trainers. I'm the first face that pop up on the John. And they say my first and my last name on the John. He see me, he looking at the computer, then he looking at me, looking at the computer, looking at me. He was like, "No fucking way. No fucking way." And I'm like, "Yeah, man, I said, "Yeah, Pivot Boxing is me." He was like, "Really?" He said, "So the whole time I'm talking about this event, you're not going to tell me you're from Pivot Boxing?" I'm like, "Nah." I said, "Man, nah, I don't really like to talk about, personal stuff at work." That shit was crazy, bro. Shit was crazy. But yeah. Yeah, bro. I don't like being that friend that people like to go to that. And plus, I don't really like talking to. I don't like, cause bro, I've been doing this boxing shit a good portion of my life, right? I don't really like to talk to people. No, I don't have a work girlfriend. Why the fuck would you say that, Slime? Even if I did, why is you dry snitching knowing that my girl be watching this shit? Slime a hoe ass nigga. Slime, you really a hoe. This nigga, ain't you some like former street nigga or some shit like that? You know you ratting, right? You hoe ass nigga. This nigga a nut. Anyways, that's slime for you. Yeah, I don't really like talking to casuals about boxing. My fist is not balled up. That is not true, brother. Yeah, I don't like talking. I don't really like talking to casuals about boxing because then they say some shit that piss me off. Because the thing about casuals, they just copy and paste whatever certain media outlets say, and that should be absolute bullshit, and they be riding with it. I remember my girl went and told her girl's boyfriend or her girlfriend's boyfriends that I was in boxing. Bro, these niggas surrounded me like on some interrogation shit. Oh, so I heard you're in boxing. Yeah. What you think about Gervonta? I'm like, fuck. That shit pissed me off. I was like, bro. I don't know, man. I don't know. She said you got a YouTube channel. Fuck! Girl just be giving a scoop on niggas. My girl did me dirty with that, John. But anyways, yeah, work is definitely nah. The most they'll hear me talk about in my personal life is my son. That's it. I don't be telling them shit because they don't deserve to know shit. And I don't give a fuck about what you do with your life. So why you worried about what I do with mine? But it is what it is. Eventually, we won't be working at these motherfucking jobs soon because Mazuma TV gonna blow up, bitch. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and get me some rest, man. I appreciate everybody that came through and showed love. As always, if you could go ahead and hit the like button, that'd be very much appreciated. This is Mazuma TV, the home of boxing excellence. I'll be back at y'all with another live 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to continue speaking on what's currently going on in the sport of boxing. Until then, y'all have a blessed, beautiful one. I'm up out of here, man. Peace.